Welcome back to Legalese 123. Today we're talking about the Sean Ellis versus Massachusetts case. This is a 1993 case. If you believe that there was corruption in the Karen Reed case, oh, you're in for a shocking surprise. You must check out the Netflix docuseries about the Sean Ellis case called Trial 4. Perhaps it's the Commonwealth's duty that when a police officer is killed that they would do anything in their power to get a conviction, no matter the cost. $1.14 million in the Karen Reed retrial 2.0. Do you think that if Karen Reed wasn't acquitted that they would have tried her again? I believe that they would, and why? Well, just look into Sean Ellis's case. Not only was he tried once, twice, but 3 times for a conviction that was overturned and headed for trial 4. At just 19 years old, Sean Ellis was arrested and charged with the execution-style murder of Boston police officer John J. Mulligan in a Walgreens parking lot in Roslindale, Massachusetts. On September 26, 1993, Detective John Mulligan was a security officer for the then 24-hour Walgreens. He was shot 5 times while he was sleeping in his car and was discovered around 3:49 a.m. Ellis happened to be in the Walgreens around 3 a.m. buying diapers for his cousin. Due to the high-profile nature of a Boston officer being shot and the public's pressure to solve the crime, the media attention, officers were pressed to make an arrest. Coincidentally, 3 days later, on September 29th, Ellis's cousins Celine Kirk and Tracy Brown were killed by Craig Hood, who was Celine's ex-boyfriend. Ellis lived with his two cousins, Kirk and Brown. Hood confessed and stated that the motive was over a gold chain. Tracy was a witness and therefore Hood needed to be eliminated. Hood was convicted on second-degree murder and has 2 consecutive life terms. While investigating these murders, police found Ellis's ID, diapers, and the receipt from Walgreens the night of Mulligan's murder. Ellis had explained that he had gone with his cousin Celine and his friend Terry Patterson. Boston police officers were desperate to solve Mulligan's murder and were hunting down every lead possible. Detective John Brazel interviewed Sean's uncle, David Murray, who spoke about Ellis living with Kirk and Brown at the time. Brazel then arrested Ellis and accused him of killing his cousins. During his interview, Ellis admitted that Celine and Terry Patterson had driven him to the Walgreens that night. Ellis was released by police on October 1st, 1993. On October 5th, 1993, Terry Patterson was arrested. He was charged with killing Mulligan. It's believed that Brazel needed the investigation to stop. But why? He interviewed Patterson about who shot Mulligan, and Brazel said Patterson had shook his head yes when asked if Sean Ellis was involved. This statement is still in dispute to this day. Officer Walter Mitty Robinson and John Brazel and Kenneth Acera had their suspect, Sean Ellis, as he had put himself at the scene. October 6th, Sean was arrested for Mulligan's murder. Later, it's learned that all 3 of these cops are in the narcotics division, and they weren't even homicide detectives. Trial 1 happened January 4th, 1995. Rosa Sanchez testified that she saw Ellis at the Walgreens around the time of the murder. She said he was hunched down next to Mulligan's car when she entered. When she exited, she saw 2 men by the payphone stating one of them was Ellis. She was brought into the station to do a photo ID. The only problem was that Detective Acera and Robinson were in the room with her the entire time. There was another huge conflict. Acera was dating Rosa's aunt at the time. Gloria Brown testified that Ellis bought diapers at Walgreens around 3 a.m. on the night of the murder. Friends and associates, including Terry Patterson, whose presence tied Ellis to the Walgreens. David Murray, who was Ellis's uncle, he himself said he had problems with the law. He stated that he was coerced into the interview to state that Ellis and Patterson had buried the guns in the Mulligan case. Murray told the jury that Sean was upset and proclaimed his innocence after being accused of the murder. His testimony is considered strongly exculpatory. Letitia Walker said that the DA at the time influenced her to testify by threatening to take away her son. She said that they took her prints for some reason. She wasn't sure why, but that later on it was discovered that her prints were magically on the weapons that she never handled. The first trial ended in a hung jury on January 21st of 1995. The Commonwealth held him over without bail to try him again. Trial number 2 was March 21st of 1995. Same witnesses testified, and the jury was hung yet again on April 1st, 1995. They again held him without bail pending trial number 3. In this trial, prosecution eliminated Ellis's uncle, David Murray. The jury convicted him. After his conviction in trial 3, Ellis was sentenced to a life prison but proclaimed that he was innocent. In 2003, Ellis found out that he could do a Rule 30 post-conviction relief on his own, but would have to fire his current lawyers for ineffective assistance of counsel. He was watching the news and saw Rosemary Scapicchio on another wrongful conviction case. Sean had contacted her, but she stated she was too busy at the time and he would have to wait about 18 months. Luckily, Sean waited. In 2004, Rosemary Scapicchio took Sean's case. Her goal was to get a conviction overturned and get a new trial. She had an uphill battle as this was no ordinary case because it involved a Boston police officer who was killed. She believed that his first 3 trials were unjust. There was lack of evidence, susceptible eyewitness testimony, coerced testimony, as well as some were under duress. Scapicchio worked tirelessly with her team to dig up tons of information to help Sean. He spent 21 years and 7 months in jail until 2015 when a Suffolk Superior Court judge, Carol Ball, overturned his convictions. She granted him bail and a new trial, and on June 10, 2015, he was released. Trial 4, the Commonwealth has set a date. Will Sean Ellis get a fair trial? Will there be more misinformation or late discovery? Will he be convicted or set free? As these things were unfolding in Sean's case, it was uncovered that John Brazel, who participated in a corrupt scheme from 1990 to 1996, did it with Kenny Acera, Mitty Robinson, and John Mulligan. Yep, it seems that these 3 detectives who were trying to solve Mulligan's murder colluded together. They lied, robbed, stole from drug dealers by submitting false search warrants. Brazel turned state's witness and turned on Acera and Robinson. Both ended up pleading guilty. Brazel was given immunity and served no time and is collecting his pension to this day. In 1997, Acera and Robinson were indicted on over 40 counts of perjury and armed robbery. And in Sean's case, it turned out to be the Boston police officers who were corrupt. Let's listen to an interview that Rosemary Scapicchio gave on Greater Boston.
Joining me now is Sean Ellis, who was released on bail last year after more than 20 years behind bars. Sean, it's good to meet you. Along with his attorneys, Rosemary Scapicchio and Jaleese McDonough. Great to meet you both. Oh, well, I know you. We invited District Attorney Dan Conley, by the way, to join us, but he declined based on his schedule, he said. So the SJC says Sean is entitled to a new trial. Give me the short version. Why?
Because the Boston Police Department withheld exculpatory evidence for 22 years.
Exculpatory in that there may have been other people who were likely or possibly responsible for the murder. Is that right? But also there was something about corrupt cops, no?
Yes. So one of the reasons that we got a new trial is because we were able to link the corruption of Acera and Robinson directly to Mulligan. Mulligan was involved in some drug robberies with them.
Joining me now is...
Well, there you heard from Rosemary Scapicchio. She's been practicing law and working with the wrongly convicted for a very long time. She's no stranger to the Massachusetts court system. I was surprised to hear her say the same thing in Sean's case as she's been saying currently right now to this day. Where's the discovery? You heard it in the Karen Reed trial. Now, Scapicchio is doing it here in the Ellis trial. Now she's also working with the Miles King case. These are current and relevant cases in the Massachusetts court system that continues to see a problem with discovery. How can discovery still be turned over after 20 years? She's currently making headlines representing Miles King. And while is she making headlines? Again, it's the same old thing that you've heard before: missing discovery. And whose name is in the forefront of all of these discovery issues in the Miles King case? Currently, right now, it's Trooper Michael Proctor for not turning over warrants. King's case has been pending since 2021. Scapicchio is a force to be reckoned with and a great lawyer. Will she get the King case dismissed? Well, his case is currently pending in Norfolk Superior Court. I'll be covering the outcome and the logistics of that case. Will Ellis be convicted or will he be set free? Definitely watch Trial 4 on Netflix now. You'll see exactly how the cops, DAs, judges, and others act when the credibility of others is questioned due to their bias. Thanks for watching another episode of Legalese 123. Please like and subscribe for more content.